You are here again for another training inside of the Black Woman Startup Summit. So I want you to take a moment, congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back. You have successfully been able to tell your partner, time out, the kids, go have a seat, and you have shown up each and every day to get exactly what you need in order for you to start your business, grow your business, sustain your business, and then ultimately succeed your business out to either the next generation or sell it. That is really the 4 seasons of entrepreneurship. But guess what? We'll never get to the 4 seasons of entrepreneurship if all we are doing is aspiring to get to the next level and never actualizing anything. Because this is not the I want to be a CEO, I want to be a Black woman startup. This is I am a hashtag Black woman startup. Go ahead and put that in the feed. I am a hashtag Black woman startup. And while you're putting that inside of the feed, make sure that you're putting your first name, your last name, where you're from, and we want to make sure that we have the ability to shout you out. My name is E.R. Spalding. So I'll be the first one. I am the founder of Black Woman Startup, and I have decided to bring all of my business besties together so we can, one, be in support of each other while also being in support of you in terms of moving from aspiration to actualization. And that is what my good friend, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, who, by the way, is a Harvard-trained attorney, right, is here to do. She is going to help us move into the C-suite of our lives so that we can truly be the CEOs of our business. And we can only do that if we stop dreaming about it, if we stop wishing about it, if we stop utilizing language like I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and start actually being who we are. And that is a powerful Black woman who, by the way, when she said she wanted to start a business, she didn't mean that she wanted to start over. And so she wants to translate all of that career success, all of that high achieving energy, all of that maximum output into having a really successful business. But in order to do that, we have to move from thought to reality. We have to unlock our potential and make sure that we are activating it so that it becomes the kinetic energy that actually moves something along. But I'm preaching to the choir, right? Because you would not be here if you didn't know how to take action. And we want to make sure that you are continuing to take that action over and over and over again. And Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes is one of those individuals that has the ability not only to inspire, not only to empower, but to also help you make manifest that which you said you wanted to do. So download the workbook. And the keyword is Stephanie, 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 to 773-993-1652. Her trademark mapping system is inside of that workbook and helping you to become the CEO of your life. You know, we have maps to get just about everywhere that we want to go. We get inside of the car, we pop it into the GPS, we know where we are, we know where we want to be, and something up in the ether begins to calculate all of these supercomputers, and it says turn right, turn left, there's construction ahead. But how do you do that in your life? And what is that little something in the ether? That little something that's in the ether is actually you. Yeah, I said it. So there's nobody that's coming to your rescue. There are no little minions that are in the background doing all of your bidding. The one that comes to your rescue and to help you move from aspiration to actualization is you. So you better have a roadmap. I encourage you to curate a plan and then get about the business of making it happen. So without further delay, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, I'm going to bring you up and I'm going to give everyone one more shot to make sure that you download your workbook. So you're going to text Stephanie to 773-993-1652 and we are going to get started. Stephanie, you got your fingers on your laptop. Are you ready? Are you ready? She said she's ready. So we're coming over to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, CEO of C-Suite Women's Network, and I am so excited to be a 2018 faculty member for the Black Woman Startup Summit. And I want to welcome you to this experience that is going to help you launch your business and get you to the C-suite of your life. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself later, but I do want to let you know that I am the CEO of C-Suite Women's Network, where I help women and a few good men to be the CEOs of their lives so that they can be better CEOs of their business. And I'm excited to give you this content today that's going to help you move from aspiration to action. Because we don't want you to just aspire to be a CEO. We want you to take the action steps that it takes to become a CEO of your life, a CEO in your business, so that you can make those CEO moves. So without any further ado, what I love to do is share my screen with you so that we can get into this content, get into this presentation, so that you will be able to begin taking those action steps. Now, hopefully you have already downloaded and received the handout, and you can just follow along with that as we go through. And just if you have not, just pause for a moment and go back to the Black Woman Startup Summit homepage so that you can get the instructions for how to download the handout. But it's just a simple handout that just gives you a place to organize all of your thoughts, and you're going to get an action plan that you can use to begin to launch your dreams, as well as to launch individual projects that you may work on. So let's get into the content. I'm going to share my screen with you, the presentation. So, many times, we have dreams, we have these ideas, we have these feelings inside of us that we want to bring to life, things that we want to do. We don't know where to get started. It's something that we've dreamed about for years. It's something that we can't stop thinking about, but we haven't started. And so I want to help you move from aspiration to action. And so in order for you to move from aspiration to action, you have to develop an action plan that really helps you to make things happen. So are you ready? Are you ready to make things happen? If you are, then let's get started. So who am I? Now, I've told you my name a couple of times. I'm Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, CEO of C-Suite Women's Network. Again, where I help women and a few good men to be the CEOs of their lives so that they can be better CEOs of their business. But I wasn't always a CEO. I started my career as a corporate attorney many years ago. I worked for law firms, and I ended my legal career, the first part of it, as general counsel for a health system where I handled multi-million-dollar contracts and oversaw the operations, the legal operations of a multi-million-dollar company. So I have had experience in strategic planning and organizational development and helping others in the company that I worked for to become leaders. But I didn't want to stop there. I love to help women in particular to find the leader within. within themselves. So I began my business coaching career over 8 years ago and transitioned that to what I do now is I help women primarily in three different ways. I help women who are in corporate America to decide if they want to move up or move out and help them develop a strategy around that. I help women who've decided, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm ready to start my own business. I work with them and help them to, again, develop that action plan, that strategy that either helps them to launch their business or helps them to be more effective in their business. And then the last bucket of women that I work with is those who just need to figure out what they need to figure out. Because sometimes we need to just improve certain aspects of ourselves to be better CEOs. That may be developing an executive presence so that you're able to better communicate, better to have a better professional image, or being more assertive in your ability to negotiate for yourself in everyday life as well as real life negotiations. Or maybe, you just want to figure out how to be more effective in your relationships. Because the thing is, as CEOs, we have personal lives and we have professional lives, and those two things intersect. Our personal lives affect how we show up at work. Our work lives affect how we show up in our personal lives. So I help women to be the CEOs of their lives and to really work through their personal and professional issues in a strategic way that enables them to create the life they desire and deserve. So I am rather an international speaker. I've spoken all around the world. I have helped women to develop leadership capabilities in the United States and abroad. I'm also, like I said, an attorney. So I also bring to you the real life strategies of a general counsel. So I'm going to be your general counsel today in helping you to figure out how you're going to launch your business or whatever the projects are that you work on. And I love to think of myself as a CEO cultivator because I possess the skills and experience to be able to help women to be CEOs. I also have a PhD in organizational leadership. So I look at things from a theoretical perspective, but I also look at things from a very practical perspective using the experience that I've gained over the years. And, like I say, I've worked with a lot of women in helping them to develop their inner CEO. And here's some examples of some women that I've worked with to give you an idea of, what they've gained from being the CEOs of their lives. I worked with Kristen, who was, or is rather, a physician, and she wanted to learn how to be more effective in her job. She was excellent at her clinical skills, but wanted to be a better leader. So we worked through a strategy, came up with a plan that helped her to be more effective in her job. And she later went on to lead her own clinic instead of of reporting to someone else. I also worked with an entrepreneur who wanted to be more effective in her career. And so helping her to find confidence, because our confidence can affect our ability to execute. And so I worked with her to help her to boost her confidence, to help her to pursue a better career so that she was not just walking around aimlessly, but actually had a strategy and a plan about where she wanted to go, and also helped her to find her purpose. Then I also worked with an entrepreneur who had been on the entrepreneurial journey for a while, but really wasn't going as effectively as she could. So helping her to get clarity around her goals, clarity around what she truly wanted to do so that she could align her actions with her aspirations. Because if your actions and your aspirations are not in alignment, you're going to get stuck. And then finally, an example is an entrepreneur that I worked with who wanted to expand her business. And she had a goal to be able to grow her business and do things beyond just the day-to-day grind that she found herself in. So helping her to develop her CEO skills, her leadership skills, enabled her to be a better leader in her business, which allowed her to improve not only her performance, but that of those who worked with her. So that's just some examples of women I've worked with who have taken on the task of being the CEOs of their lives so that they could be better CEOs in their business. So I want to introduce to you the C-Suite Lifestyle Mapping System. And this is the system that I've used in my career. It's the culmination of my PhD studies, my working in corporate America, working and coaching other business leaders, all of the things that I've learned that have enabled us and can enable you to be the CEO of your life. Because when you think about what CEOs do, that literally stands for Chief Executive Officer. They execute, they get things done. Well, they don't do this haphazardly. They're not just dreaming about what they want to do. There's a certain system that they use to get to the C-suite and to remain in the C-suite. And the C-suite of our lives is that place where, we are performing at our best, we are living out our purpose, we are living out the life we desire and we deserve. And every woman deserves to get to the C-suite of her life. And again, for you, that may literally be moving up the chain in the company that you work for now, or it could be moving out and moving into your own business. But regardless of whether you stay or whether you go, these are fundamental concepts that are going to help you to be more effective. So I want you to look at this. And of course, if you have your handout, you have the blank version of this and just fill it in as we go along. So, this is a pyramid by design. And I want you to think about this pyramid as each level building up on the other. And at the foundation of this pyramid is your belief system. Now, this encompasses a lot of different things, but basically it boils down to the mindset that you have, the mental environment that you live in. Because, every belief creates a future. Every thought creates an action. Every action results in an outcome. And that outcome determines and defines the future that you will have. So the very thoughts that you have right now are defining and developing a future for you. So it's really important for you to be specific, be deliberate, and be committed to the thoughts that you have right now. Be deliberate about the future that you create. Because whether you will ever become the CEO of your business or not lives in your thoughts. And this is not just, hocus pocus, living life, looking through rose-colored glasses. Your mindset is so very important because your creative capability is going to be the largest asset of your business because it drives the thoughts that you have. It drives the dreams that you have. It drives the products and services that you are going to develop. And if you don't protect your mind, your belief system, and aren't aware of what that is, then, it's going to be difficult for you to be effective in what you do. So in working with all of my clients, one of the very first things that we do, regardless of what it is that they want to launch, whether it's a business, whether it's a project, whether it's an expansion, we start by looking at their belief system because, it's really important, again, for you to know your mission, know your vision, know your values. Because your mission is going to explain to you and anyone else why you exist and what you're here for. Your vision is going to explain to you and anyone else where it is that you want to go. And then your values are going to define how you make decisions and how you show up when crises arise. Because if you are unable to articulate your mission, why you're here, your vision, where you're going, your values, what you stand for, then you will waver throughout your business endeavors because you're always trying to figure out where you're going. That's why your belief system is the foundation for your business. And so whatever you do, it's important for you to think about your life in this way. So that's the first thing, is really developing your belief system. And the next thing is, recognizing the next level of that. We've talked about your mental environment, okay? As a CEO, it's important for you to recognize that you are not effective working by yourself. You may be talented, and you are. You're talented. You have all of these great skills and capabilities. But as a CEO, it's not your job to do everything. It is your job, your responsibility to create the vision, to create the strategy, but to work with a team of people that are going to help you to implement and execute your plan. Because if you think about real CEOs, they're not doing everything themselves. They are leveraging their talent, their skills against the talents and skills of others to get things done. It's more than collaboration, because you do need to collaborate, but it's really tapping into the power to leverage the talents against you that you have against the talents that others may have. And here's something that a smart CEO is always going to do. It's really important for you to recognize your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. One of the things that I always do with my clients is, before we begin assembling a team, you have to begin with self. What are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Because until you know that, you don't know what you need to leverage against. You don't know who you need to add to your team, and you can be ineffective in pairing with other people, because a smart CEO always surrounds herself with people who are smarter than she is, who are strong where she is weak, and who can make her look good. One of the things that's really important, which is why you go back to that belief system that you must do as a CEO, is you can't operate in insecurity and think that, okay, in order for me to look good, I've got to be the best person. I've got to be, all attention has to be on me. You will shine because you shine, but you must be confident enough to be willing to surround yourself with people who are smarter, stronger than you are. Because when you align yourself with people who are smarter than you are, who are strong where you are weak, then together you are more powerful. And, I don't say this in any way to denigrate your capabilities. When I say smarter than you are, I'm a smart woman. I've got a PhD, I've got a JD, and I graduated with honors every single time. So I'm really smart, right? But I don't know everything. I don't know how to do everything. And there are some things that are within what I call my circle of excellence. And there's some things that are outside of it. And if it's outside of my circle of excellence, or my core of excellence, then I need to partner with someone who is better than I am in that degree, in that respect, rather. So that's what I mean by partnering with people who are smarter than you are. But it begins with that assessment of self. So the entrepreneur that I worked with that wanted to expand her business, one of the very first things that we had to do was to develop a people infrastructure, to assess her people infrastructure. So it's important in this level to assess your people infrastructure on the personal side of things, as well as the professional, the technical component. So you want to look at who do you have developing you as a CEO, and then who are you working with? So let's start with the who is developing you as a CEO. I call the people infrastructure foundation necessities the 6 C's. Again, the 6 C's. There are 6 kinds of people that you need in your life as a CEO to sit at your board table, in your boardroom, to be able to help you to be a better CEO. The first C is a counselor. Back up. The first C is a cheerleader. I want to start there. The first C is a cheerleader. This is the person who is your motivator. They help you to feel good about yourself. They see in you what you may not see in yourself, and they're your go-to person to help you refocus on the good things in life. So your cheerleader. Everyone needs to make sure that they have a cheerleader. So that's the first C. The second C is a counselor. A counselor. And a counselor is someone that can give you advice. They help you to learn something. They are someone who has knowledge greater than you do. They are someone who can teach you something, and they are someone to whom you can go for advice. And they may even be a therapeutic soundboard, meaning they're someone that you can go and bounce ideas off of, and they will listen to you and give you advice. Counselor. The third type of person you need in your people infrastructure is a coach. A coach. Now, a coach is going to refine you, sharpen you, and help you to go to the next level. Sometimes you pay a coach. Most of the times you pay a coach. But here's what the difference between a coach and a counselor and a cheerleader. A cheerleader, again, makes you feel something. A counselor helps you learn something. A coach is going to make sure that you do something. They hold you accountable to your dreams. A coach holds you accountable to your dreams. So they're always going to be action-oriented, results-oriented, and they hold you to the promise you've made to yourself. Okay, so that's the third kind of person you need in your people infrastructure. And again, one thing to remember, also to remember about a coach is going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Cheerleaders probably going to tell you more of what you want to hear because they want you to feel good about yourself. A coach is going to get all in your face, all right, in a loving and sharpening way to help you to refine yourself. Okay, so that's the third C. The fourth C is a connector. A connector is going to connect you to opportunities and to people who can connect you to opportunities. So connectors are people who can refer business to you, who can connect you to coaches you may need, who can connect you to counselors, but they literally connect you to people and they connect you to opportunities. So you always want to make sure that you have a connector. Okay. The fifth C is a champion. A champion is someone who's going to advocate for you when you're not in the room. This is the person that is your advocate. They are going to go to bat for you, and they're going to bring your name up when you're not there because they believe in you and they want to see you move forward. And then the sixth type of person is your creative person. And really, this person is your muse, but muse doesn't begin with a C, so I use the term creative. But you want people who inspire you, So for me, I have a colleague and my editor, Dr. Tamara Pizzoli, a beautiful creative spirit. And what she does for me, we have conversations about all kinds of professional things, personal things, but she inspires me to write, to create things. And so we are able to do that for each other. So it's really important for you to have somebody who triggers that creativity in you. So this is your creative. So before I move on to systems, your 6 C's: cheerleader, counselor, coach. Feel something, learn something, do something. Your connector, your champion, and your creative. Okay, so when you're building your people infrastructure, make sure that you have someone in each of those roles. Sometimes it's one person in 2 roles, but usually it is not one person playing all 6 roles. That's a little hard to do. And you need the objectivity, you need the versatility and diversity of thought. So as you're getting ready to launch, make sure that you have a people infrastructure. So that's for you developing as a CEO. On the other side of that are literally the people who are going to help you do the things you need. The person that's going to help you build your website, the person that's going to help you to do your branding, the person that's going to help you to set up your financial systems and things like that. So you really want to think about your team in those respects and be specific about what's in your core of excellence, your circle of excellence, and what's outside of it. Because you may be great at bookkeeping, but your largest value is not in bookkeeping. It's in doing whatever's at the core of your business. Initially, you may do all your bookkeeping. You may do the branding. You may build your own website. But eventually, if you truly want to be a CEO and not just somebody with a side hustle, you've got to develop a team. So make sure that you think hard about your people infrastructure. Okay. So now let's move on to the third section. That's your systems. So whatever you do in a business, let me back up. anything that you have excelled at, there's a system that supports that. And so it's important for you to recognize the systems. If you think about how you got dressed this morning, you have a system for how you get dressed, a system for how you do your hair, how you do your makeup. And when you do things in that order, using these tools, using these resources, your hair and makeup and appearance comes out a certain way. But when you do something different, then it's off, right? So the same thing about everything you do. Athletes, high performing athletes, always have systems. So it's really important for you to think about the successes that you have and why are they successful? What are the things that you do every time that yields a high performance product, okay, or service? What if, in your job right now, or if you've already begun doing the business that you want to now expand into a full-time business, when you deliver that service, really think about why. What did you do right? What didn't you do? Who was present? What tools that you have? It's really important to be able to identify the systems. So it's important as a CEO to begin thinking about systems, because once you do something one way, you don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. You want to replicate the system. So you're going to have financial systems, revenue generating systems, marketing systems, communication systems, your human resources. Again, going back to your people. Once you get your people on your team, how are you going to process them? Because the importance of systems is this, and I call it the get hit by a bus rule, okay? If you get hit by a bus tomorrow, your business should be able to keep going. Now, I'm not wishing you getting hit by a bus, and we're not trying to get run over by a bus, but the point is, if you have systems in place and you write those down, when you're not there, your team can carry out the business for you, and they're not having to call you. How do I do this? How do I do that? And it gives them a sense of consistency that helps them to excel, because they don't have to figure it out. So the entrepreneur that I worked with, for example, that was expanding her business, she wanted her phone call, her client intake to be done a certain way. And so one of the things that we did is we thought about, when that process worked right, what were the steps? Step 1, step 2, step 3, and so forth. And we developed a system that she could then use to train her staff so that she could ensure that they would do it consistently without her being there. So that's the importance of systems. Moving on to the next thing is that you must embrace the power of getting mad. Now, I'm not talking about getting mad, getting angry, but getting motivated and determined. Because let's just face it, being an entrepreneur is not always easy. You're going to experience highs, but you will also experience lows, and you're going to experience a lot of turbulence. And you're going to experience resistance. This is not being negative. This is just acknowledging that things happen. Life doesn't always go exactly as you planned. So it's important for you to think ahead of time. How are you going to keep yourself motivated and determined so you don't just get mad and quit? So this is about self-care. It's about relaxation and renewal activities. It's about what are your backup systems? What are the things that you're going to do? If something goes wrong, how are you going to coach yourself through being able to get back on track? If you have a relapse because, you've not been consistent, how are you going to get yourself back on track? But really embracing the power of getting motivated and determined. And again, this is being proactive, because a CEO is a visionary. They're thinking about what's happening right now, but they're also thinking about what is going to happen in the future. And the more you do that, the more you're able to keep on track so that you don't get discouraged and quit. And then the last part of this system is you've got to have a why. Why are you doing this? Why is this important? Who are you serving? And more importantly, who does not get the gift of your skills and talents if you don't show up? Because I will tell you, in my business, I've not faced an easy road. I've experienced some personal disruptions in the middle of launching my business. I got divorced after 21 years, and that could have just set me back. I could have just quit. But I knew that my purpose was bigger than me. I truly believe in my mission to create women CEOs. And that's something that helped me to keep going so that I could get motivated and determined and not get mad and quit. So it's really important for you to articulate why you are doing this. I created C-Suite Women's Network because I want to see women make choices that help them to live the lives they deserve and desire. That's what keeps me going. So you've got to know your why, because that is the thing that needs to govern everything that you do. So when you're taking on a new project or you're taking on a new client or you're getting ready to do something, does this connect to your why? And if it doesn't, then it's probably not something that you need to invest resources in. Okay, so let's move on into the 9 keys that you need to develop an action plan. Now, you will notice that I have goals up there, but it's scratched through because I don't want you to have goals. That's an aspiration. I want you to have an action plan, which are the steps that it's going to take to actually get there. And so there are 9 keys that you must have to developing an action plan. And of course, make sure you're following along on the handout. You can write all of this in. Okay, so the very first thing is that your goal setting must begin with being specific. All right, so, I say my aspiration, okay, is to help women help women to be the CEOs of their lives. Well, what does that mean? What is specifically? So as I explained to you, that means that it's either helping them to make decisions about how they're going to move up in their corporate careers, or if they're going to launch their own business, or helping them to make decisions around how they're going to be more effective in their business, or helping them to figure out how to be better people so that they can be more effective in their personal and professional lives. So that's specific. Another specific example is, to say, I want to be rich. Well, what does rich mean? Okay. Specific goal is to say, I want to generate $150,000 in revenue in the first quarter of 2019. That is a specific goal. So how will I know if I've met it? I will make $150,000 in the first quarter of 2019. Okay. So be specific. Okay. The second thing is you have to remember, that your vision is carried out in your plans. So for everything that you do, you really need to be thinking about a plan for it, because it's one thing to say, all right, I want to help women to be CEOs. That's my vision. How am I going to do that? I'm going to provide webinars. I'm going to provide business coaching. I'm going to do live events, and the live events are going to have these objectives. So again, you're moving from vision to plans. How do you want to carry that out? So it's all about having, a bias for action. Everything that you do needs to be expressed in an action verb, literally. Not I will, I want to be, I desire. But again, something that has an action verb. I will generate, not I want $100,000. I want $100,000 as an aspiration. I will generate $100,000 in revenue is an action sentence. So you see what I'm saying? This is not mere semantics, but it's getting you thinking about how you're going to carry out that plan. And the third thing, of course, is doing what you said you were going to do. Because sometimes, we're waiting on the right time. We want we're talking about what we're going to do. We're planning it. We have the strategy, but it's not effective until you do what you say you're going to do, which means the fourth thing is you don't wait for the right time to put your plan in action, because there is no right time. There's the time that you create. And here's one thing to remember too, as a busy woman CEO, you may have family obligations, you may have relationship obligations, you may have children that you're responsible for, you may have different businesses that you're responsible for, you may be a leader in your community, in your church, in your sorority, in different organizations. You never have enough time. There never is the right time. There is only the time that you create. And here's one thing that I want you to remember as it relates to time. You don't have time management. you make time choices. Let me say that again. This was one of the most poignant things that one of my coaches ever said to me is, you don't manage time. It's not about time management. It's about time choices. And so it's, what are you going to do with the time that you have? And many times when you're waiting on the right time, your mindset, your belief system is weak because you don't truly believe that you can do it. So you keep putting it off, you keep putting it off, you keep putting it off. And here's the thing I want you to remember is this, is that you don't learn how to ride a bike by talking about riding a bike, reading about riding a bike, watching other people riding a bike. The only way you're going to ride a bike, learn how to ride a bike, is eventually you got to get on and pedal. You may fall, you may run into things, you may wobble, but it's that day-to-day action, that pedaling, that practice, holding yourself up that enables you to be able to move forward. So again, be specific, carry out your plans. And when you write a specific plan, give yourself a timeline, give yourself a date. Because you noticed I said, I want to generate 150,000 in revenue by the first quarter of 2019. Okay, so what do I want to do? Generate revenue. When do I want to do it? By the end of first quarter 2019. So I can measure myself. Either I will have done it or not by that date. Because if you leave it open-ended, you won't do it. So if you are thinking about launching your own business, write a goal that says, I will launch a business selling hair products to women of color by April 1st, 2019. So what have you done? You're specific. What are you going to do? You're going to launch a business. What kind of business is it? You're selling hair products. Who are you selling to? Women of color. When are you going to do it? April 1st, 2019. So on April 2nd, 2019, either you've done those things or you haven't. That's a way to measure your effectiveness. So again, be specific. Carry out, your vision is carried out in your plans. So your plan should always have a who, what, when, and where, and how. Okay? Answer all of the questions. It doesn't have to be this big dissertation. It can be a bullet note. I mean, a post-it note, excuse me. You can be a post-it note. You can do your whole plan on this post-it note. But again, make sure you have those elements. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. But again, this is giving yourself direction and a framework. Now, this is something that's really, really important. And I will tell you from personal experience, you need to read your plan aloud to yourself every day. What does this do? One, I believe it puts out there in the universe what it is that you want to achieve, and the universe is set up to receive and say yes. Okay? So when you hear yourself say it, when you give a voice, giving a voice to something gives it significance. Writing down your goals gives it significance. That's why I've given you a framework for actually writing out your action plan. Okay? So that gives it significance. It's more than an idea. It's more than an aspiration. It's something that's actually written out. But when you say it every day, you're reminding yourself and you're holding yourself accountable. So you can't see this, but on the other side of this screen are my goals. I've got 20 of them, 20 specific things that I want to accomplish in this calendar year. And it's here. This is my desk. I'm sitting at my desk, and it's in my bathroom on my mirror. So every day when I brush my teeth every day, okay? I brush my teeth every day. So it's right where I know I'm going to be every day, except when I'm traveling, it's not there. But then I've got it on my iPad. Okay. So again, this is keeping myself accountable, because if you write it and you put it away, it's not going to help you. So make sure you look at it every day, and then you take consistent, continuous, aligned, and progressive actions to move your plan forward. That's why it's important for you to write your goals, because you want to be able to ask yourself this question: does this move me closer to my goal or further away? If I invest in this coach, is this going to help me go forward or move backwards? If I invest in this tool, is it going to help me to move forward or go back? If I spend time doing this, is it going to help me to move closer to my goal or go backwards? And if it's not moving you progressively towards it, it takes the time it takes. I'll tell you that. There's no magic bullet as to you can do it in 6 months, you can do it in 30 days. It takes the time it takes. Some things that you want to launch will take 30 days. Some things will take 30 months. Some things will take 6 weeks, 6 months, or whatever, but it takes the time it takes. But the thing is, are you making consistent, continuous, aligned, and progressive actions to move your plan forward? So it means you have to make decisions every day that are consistent with your plan. Decision means this. At the root of that word is side, to kill all other options. So are you making decisions every day that ensure that you are going to meet your goal? Are you killing all other options except for options that get you to your goal? That's something that's really important. And that is a critical element of being a CEO. Be persistent in carrying out your plan. Instead of getting mad, get motivated and determined. Just be persistent. It takes the time it takes. And this is something that's so, so key, which is why the people infrastructure is right up above your mind, your belief infrastructure, your belief foundation. Surround yourself with people who will encourage and support your plan and those who can help you bring it to fruition. One of the things that you will note as an entrepreneur is that your circle of influence will change. And if it doesn't, you will not be successful. This does not mean you get rid of all your friends, get rid of all your family. But if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to surround yourself with successful entrepreneurs, because people who don't live that life, who don't understand that, they can't help you. They may be a cheerleader in some respects, but they can't be counselors, they can't be coaches, they can't be connectors because they don't have that experience. So it's important for you to surround yourself with people who can help you bring your plan to fruition. So again, these are 9 keys to developing an action plan. Now, here are the steps that are actually a part of your action plan, and this is on your handout. And so I'm going to just walk you through this really quickly and encourage you, once you finish, to go back and really write these things down and complete this. And you can do this for launching your business. You can do it for small projects. This is a step, a framework that's going to help you to make sure that you're moving progressively with everything that you do. First of all, begin with the vision. Where is it that you want to go? This is like putting in your GPS, the address of where you want to go. Because if you don't define where it is you're trying to go, what it is you're trying to accomplish, it's difficult then to know if you're going in the right direction. Then establish your mission. Why are you doing this? What purpose does it serve? Who are you serving? Why does this project exist? Why does this business exist? What value does it feel? Then it's important to identify your critical success factors. What are the things, behaviors, actions, resources, people that are absolutely critical to you succeeding? Because if you don't identify them, you won't know where you're deficient in those. Then, of course, state your goals and objectives, and you want to state them in measurable terms, SMART goals: specific, measurable, action-oriented, time-related, and or relative to your thing, and time-based, okay? Always want to have SMART goals. Then what are the strategies that you're going to use? So for each goal, you want to have a strategy for how you're going to accomplish that. And then the last part of it are, what are the actions that you're going to take daily, monthly, quarterly, annually to move you along? Because again, you always want to be action oriented, and the actions part of your plan is what's going to change frequently because it's going to move as you make progress. So your vision, mission, critical success factors, goals, and objectives are going to remain relatively stable. And then your actions are dynamic because you're checking things off and moving through it. And that's how you build an action plan. And the last thing that I want to share with you as we close out this content and close out this webinar is how important it is for you to act like an entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurs approach things much differently than others in the workplace and in the marketplace. And there are some characteristics that help them to succeed. The first thing is you've got to be willing to take healthy risks. Being an entrepreneur is not safe, and you will not achieve the level of success that you truly desire and deserve if you play it safe. So you take healthy risks. You weigh the costs against the benefits, and you step out there and take a risk. You have to embrace innovation and creativity, because if you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same result. And being an entrepreneur, I believe, happens at the intersection of insanity and ingenuity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Ingenuity is doing something different and expecting it to yield something great. So that's where you want to live, all right? Don't do the same thing over and over again. Have initiative. As an entrepreneur, you won't have a boss. You are the boss. So you've got to be proactive and make sure that you're moving yourself along. You can't be chicken little as an entrepreneur, so you have to practice rational crises management, which is why one of the foundational aspects is determining what are you going to do to remain motivated and determined so you don't drive yourself mad when crazy stuff happens, because that's the way it is. So it's always important for you to embrace crises as a moment to reevaluate your strategies and know how you're going to keep yourself calm so that you can move through the crisis. Because remember, as a CEO, everybody's looking to you. And if the CEO is running around like Chicken Little, everything's going to fall apart. You have to exercise strategic planning and successful execution. A strategic plan without execution is just pretty words on a piece of paper. So you'll have to balance your priorities. You can't do everything at once. You must make sure that what you're doing is going to yield you the best results so that you can remain focused on what you should be focused on. And again, that is those actions that are going to get you to your goal. Always keep the competitive advantage. You're not competing with anyone, but you want to be competitive with anybody who's in your field. And that's a major difference. Because remember, you're not out there competing, but you must be competitive. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter. Like Nike is not really worried about what Reebok is doing. Okay. Nike's not copying Reebok, but Nike is being competitive so that Nike keeps its customers and perhaps gets some of Reebok's, but it's competitive. It's not trying to do everything Reebok is doing. It's staying in its own lane in a way that helps it to be a market leader. You have to be financially savvy. At the end of the day, running a business is about knowing your numbers. So you've got to be sure that's an area where you're weak, that you have a CFO, a chief financial officer, that's going to keep you aware of your financial status. Know enough to know when things are not going right and make sure that you don't have a financial attitude of an ostrich with their head in the sand. And then just embrace the entrepreneurial spirit. And that is always learning how you're going to add value. Because your business is not going to be successful because you love it and because you have a passion for it. Your business will be successful where it is providing value to others. So just remember that your present actions have a future consequence. And ultimately, whether you will be the CEO of your business determines on whether you see yourself as a CEO, but most of all, whether you show up like a CEO. And you can't expect to have CEO outcomes when you are acting like a receptionist. You're waiting on people to tell you what to do. You don't think you can do it. You don't envision yourself in that level of success. So the time to see yourself as a CEO is now, even while you still may have a title that's something else. Because until you start acting like a CEO, you won't ever show up like one. Now, I know I've given you a lot of content, and I hope that it has been helpful to you. And I'd like to offer a free gift to you. So make sure that you text the word action. And again, that's the word action to 929-322-2968. Again, 929-322-2968. And if you text the word action to 929-322-2968, I've got a free gift for you that puts all of this. You get a nice graph that helps you with building, again, your C-suite mapping system, as well as some other material that's going to help you to develop your action plan. So as a CEO, ultimately, you are going to create the life and career you want. And that begins with an idea, plus a vision, plus belief, plus a plan, plus action, plus persistence, plus decisions. And all of that equals success. So I just want to thank you so much. I'm Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, and it has been my pleasure to share this content with you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the future. And I encourage you to go to www.discovertheCEOinyou.com. Again, that's www.discovertheCEOinyou.com. And I would be glad to have a free strategy session with you to learn how I can help you to launch your aspiration into action. And as a bonus for you, I have another free gift. And if you text the word fabulous, again, text the word fabulous, FABULOUS, to 929-322-2968. Again, 929-322-2968. Text the word fabulous to 929-322-2968, and you can download a free copy of my ebook, Finding the Fabulous in You, a blueprint for creating the life you desire and deserve. So I hope you'll take advantage of that free gift. I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Hopefully I will see you, and we will do a mini CEO makeover. If you go to www.discovertheCEOinyou.com, and we can have a strategy session on how you can create the life you desire and deserve. So I just want to, again, thank you so much for being a part of the Black Woman Startup Summit.